Welcome to the Rossifari 2024 Gift Giving Guide episode or something. I didn't really think of a special name. Hello, I'm John Rossi. I'm a touring drummer with a passion for animal conservation. When I'm on the road, I spend as much time as possible visiting zoos, aquariums, and conservation organizations. Now, I want to share those places with you. I'll be talking to keepers, vets, conservationists, anyone who can help me in my mission of connecting my people to animals through their people. Join me on my Rossifari. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome to this very special episode of the Rossifari Podcast. All right, well, welcome back to the podcast, y'all. I am really excited for this week's episode. I thought we should probably be starting something that's going to be an annual tradition here. So, as you know, as I deal with a lot of zoos and aquariums, I also get to interact with a lot of people and industry stuff that kind of relates to those topics in close and far ways. And a big part of that is getting to meet some very well-known, very famous companies, some up-and-coming companies, and some companies that are literally just one person doing the best that they can, that are all related to zoos, conservation, animals, all that good stuff. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to really be impressed by a lot of really amazing products. There's so much stuff in my house, in my life, that I find absolutely amazing. And it occurred to me that if you are an animal lover, or if you have animal lovers in your life, that you might want to know some of my recommendations for giving gifts, whether it is to other people or to yourself. It's good stuff. And so I thought the best way that I could share those gifts that I love with y'all is by interviewing the creators. Because let's face it, you already get Zoo News, which is just me blathering at you for an hour each week. So, it seemed kind of fair to do this in our standard interview way. So this week, I am bringing you 5 different companies that have multiple gifts that are perfect for animal lovers. We are talking about stickers and pins and calendars and apparel and water bottles and a game and stuffed animals. It's all good stuff. And I'm excited to share all of these things with you. And hopefully encourage you to support these creators. I will tell you that all of these are products that I have tried and use and have in my everyday life and genuinely love. This was not a thing where I was like, hey, if you want to be on my podcast, this was 100% me falling in love with these products and wanting to share them with y'all and share their creators with y'all because there's some very cool, very artistic, very nerdy people that you are going to be hearing from. So in this episode, you are going to hear from people from Peppermint Narwhal, Cappy Trails, Buoy Bottles, which are cool water bottles, Saratoga Toy and Game, which is a company that makes a card game called Zoo King, and Tied-in-Knots-Crocheting. And so you're going to get to hear interviews with all of those companies, and you're even going to get to hear a Rossifari
poop story.
So that's really exciting. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do each interview individually, and then your show notes, the little like digital file that comes with the podcast on the every app shows it differently, but the stuff that I type up are going to really help you out with this episode. Normally, I assume nobody looks at those, but in this case, I'm going to put in the show notes the start time for each of the companies in the episode, as well as links to the products, as well as if any of the companies gave us discount codes, and a few did, those will be listed there as well. I'll also be linking everything in my stories, on my Instagram, on Facebook, all that good stuff. But the show notes are going to help you find these products and save money on some of them. So look for those. With all of that said, I think this is a lot of fun. I hope y'all enjoy it. And please let me know what you think of this. But without further ado, let's get to the gifties.
Brian Masuka. I'm with Peppermint Narwhal. Our mission is conservation through creativity. We focus on promoting the wide range of the animal kingdom from the iconic to the obscure using illustration, art, and creativity.
I love it. And first of all, let me just say thank you for being here. I have been a fan for longer than Rossifari existed.
Thank you.
It's great. I love just so much of what you do, and we'll talk about that. I am slightly disappointed that you are a human. I always thought that it was actually a narwhal running the company, so I don't...
Yeah, I tend to disappoint when I'm met in person.
Although I will say that beard is pretty mythical. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But so can you tell me quickly where the name comes from?
Sure. So when I started, I'm a creative person. I've been a designer for a long time. When you sort of start a company, I think you sort of want to create, I think, a narrative. You're sort of, when you build a brand, you're really building a story with your audience. So I wanted to sort of, when I created this company, create a story, and we were focused on animals, and we wanted to find a way to sort of connect people more with animals and better learn about animals, so that, you can't save something if you don't love it, and you don't love it if you don't even know about it. So we felt there was a big gap in animal education out there that was an opportunity for us. So Peppermint Narwhal sort of became this, the narwhal for me is one of the most fascinating animals because it's still one of the ones that people sometimes don't believe is real. In fact, you really wouldn't have a unicorn to the extent that you do, where you see any little girl running around at any public place and they got a horn on their head. That's all really thanks to this amazing animal. So I thought it was really this unique animal among this amazing animal kingdom. So I like that about it. I also, as I sort of look at the tusk, actually one of the sort of interesting facts about the tusk is it's actually the only tooth that's inside out in the animal kingdom. So the sensitive material actually is on the outside. So if you look at it really closely, it kind of has like a sort of spirally, sort of almost like candy cane kind of quality to it when you really look at it, at least a horn that's living, not necessarily one that's, been preserved. So I saw that sort of candy cane style and I thought, oh, that's kind of a fun name. And I thought, it could be a fun story, like almost like the, Moby Dick, this unique mythical white whale. And now, this Peppermint Narwhal is a unique narwhal within all these, already very unique species. So that's sort of where our story went. Brand's also become kind of a playground for me. I've got to really like it and find it fun and interesting because I'll be using it a lot. So I thought that the narwhal probably wouldn't get boring to me because it's just such a fascinating animal. So I sort of weave that all into the story and, allowed the story to have a point where I think viewers connect with it. I always want to create a brand that somebody will maybe evoke the question, well, wait, what is Peppermint Narwhal? It plays on curiosity because I think we're social primates, so we're innately curious.
No, absolutely. And I think you knocked it, out of the park. That is such a cool, I actually didn't know the reverse tooth, the inside out tooth thing. That's really cool. I love that.
I could bore you with some narwhal facts.
I mean, I am all about learning, but that's not what today is. So let's chat about. So what kind of? I mean, I feel like you make so many products, and but talk about some of what you have available for people. Since we're kind of focused on gift giving for this episode, what do you have?
Sure. Well, it's holiday season, so a lot of our products kind of play to that. First off, one of our biggest products that's out right now is the Animal Holiday Calendar. It's basically sort of, I'll hold it up here real quick. I don't know if you can see it here, but it's sort of a really fun resource. It's sort of my passion project. I mean, I work on this thing all year round. In fact, now that this one's out, I'm already on the 2026 one. And, this is the 2025 one that's coming out. So anyway, it's basically loaded with, on any given month, there's tons of animal holidays, animal, nature, and conservation effects. And in fact, most NGOs in different places around the world, animal holidays, because of social media, have become really popular ways and successful ways for getting animal messages out there. So sometimes if you're a civet and, you don't get the love of maybe a giant panda, then World Civet Day can be very helpful for you to, maybe get a little extra push. So a lot of animal groups that are trying on the front lines to sort of save some of these species have used animal holidays to sort of be a beacon for their conservation efforts. And what we've done is we've sort of researched over many years, collected all of these, and started to compile them into this calendar. And in the calendar, we also load it with, because we're all about education, we push so much biodiversity in there. I mean, I try to, on every spread, there's an insect at least, there's or an invertebrate, there's a fish, a bird, a mammal, so there's a little bit for everybody. Plus there's always at least 6 or 7 facts on any spread, so you're always learning as you're kind of having fun and engaging in what's topical for this given day, week, or month.
Yeah, and I know we were talking before I started recording, but I'm going to repeat myself. But thank you for making the calendar, and y'all have hooked me up with it in the past, and even gave me some to give to listeners in the past, which was amazing. Just like I do my Zoo News episode, and I came up with the idea of doing animal holidays for it. And for months when I started doing that, my wife and I would frantically search the internet for animal holidays, and it was a whole thing. And then I stumbled upon your calendar. And it's crazy because, like I said, I've been a fan for a long time. I'm a pin collector, so I've been focused on the pins. And all of a sudden, there was a calendar. And you made a process that was taking me like hours of stressful searching done. So yeah. I'm very appreciative for that personally. So thank you.
Yeah, so you were doing the time that goes into just tracking holidays, double checking and reaching out to NGOs and confirming, trying to get the ones that float around that are a little bit harder to wrangle. So yeah,
and people like change them or argue about them, or 2 different organizations are trying to get one day started. Oh yeah, no, I encountered a lot of crap. There's a lot that goes into that calendar.
Each year there's still a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for doing that. And then talk about some of the other stuff that you've got available.
So over the years, we really are at our core, about, this conservation through creativity, where we, for many years would work with animal groups, and there were a lot of times we'd find their messages or some important messages that kind of fell on the cutting room floor. So that's really where we set out to sort of make these animal graphics, because we thought maybe we don't need to wait for clients to get these messages out there. I've been passionate about animals since I was a child. What if I kind of took that, lifetime of knowledge and interest? So basically, we made these animal graphics to try to educate people. And over the years, people started asking for us about merch. I had done some merch for myself. Just occasionally I'd make something, put it on a shirt, walk around with it. And, sometimes someone's like, oh, can I get that shirt? Or ask me for a different product. So over the years, we started to look at a number of different products, but we really like pins, because enamel pins are kind of compact, easy to move around. So if you do a show, or if you pop up at a zoo or something like that, you're doing a little pop-up show, they're not the heaviest thing to haul around, and they're easy, and you can get a lot of biodiversity. So over the years, we've grown the pin collection. The menagerie that we have I lost count. I don't keep a hard count, but I know there's hundreds of them now, and they cover a pretty wide range. We used to have only a few, and everyone always say, do you have a cheetah? No. Do you have a lion? No. But now, we have those animals and plenty more. So the pins are really neat. We try to keep them our style is sort of playfully whimsical, but still try to be pretty species accurate. So we want to educate you and get the stuff right, but also keep it fun and exciting, because that's how you win people over. If it's too dry and clinical, you'll always connect with someone like me, who's an animal nerd, or somebody who likes pulling out encyclopedias. But to get that broader audience, I think you got to be a little more playful, a little more fun. So that's where our style sort of stays. So we have quite a group of pins now. We try to make little themes like save the wetlands, or we create a broader theme like fantastic and freaky animals, where there's some of the animals that sometimes are a little wild, interesting, bizarre, blow your mind, and maybe underappreciated or even unfairly perceived in the animal kingdom. So each one of these little series kind of collects a snapshot of the interesting aspects of the animal kingdom. Ornaments have also become pretty popular for us. So I'm a big fan of the holidays. My sort of holidays have always been fond memories for me. So ornaments have been a nice way to sort of get some of the animal products out there for people. So we have a pretty wide range of that. We've started to collaborate with some different groups on both the pins and ornament fronts. So we've made pin series that now we've collaborated with different groups where they actually benefit those conservation groups. So that helps us try to bring this conservation effort and this retail also to continue to support these causes and front lines and good groups out there doing work to conserve these animals. So those are some of our biggest products that I would say, probably pin, at least right now. We also have things like gift tags and holiday cards, again, because it's a holiday season.
Right. No, that's and all of it is flipping fantastic. Let's be honest. Before I have a few other questions. I could talk to you all day. I love your products. But one of the things I noticed that I want to kind of feature for my listeners is that you partner with zoos and aquariums and such, sometimes in different ways. So I volunteer at Aquarium of Niagara in Niagara Falls, New York, and we just opened Great Lakes 360, which is our second building, and it has all of these very specific animals. And y'all have like pins in partnership with them, and I have some on my backpack right now, and like I just find that amazing. What's that process like for you?
Yes, it's a lot of fun. And because I like you, kind of the places that you're talking about, the Aquarium of Niagara's or the zoos and aquariums across the country, are really places that I've always enjoyed. When I grew up, I was in a family that, I had 3 other siblings, and, it was a family of 6 moving around at any given time. It was fairly costly to do things, and zoos were great ways to get to the zoo and see a lot of fun stuff. So I've always had a kind of fondness for those places. Ohio's really kind of has a spoils here in the state that I have with some really great zoos. So zoos and aquariums, I love fish. I can't get enough of them. So partnering with these groups are really fun ways for me to enjoy that sort of connection to my childhood, and also the good work that, when you go into a facility, you get to see all these amazing animals in one place and take what you see in a textbook or what you saw on a television show and watch it actually move around and really observe it firsthand, which is very powerful. So we've reached out to some groups that we have some synergy with, or some topics that we're interested in. We've done collaboration with the Oakland Zoo, the Aquarium of Niagara, as you mentioned. We've also done a lot of collaboration with groups that are doing the frontline conservation work, like Bat Conservation International is a newer pin series that we did. The Amphibian and Reptile Conservancy, we've worked with them in the past. And then also Endangered Wolf Center was another one that we did a Canon series with recently. So we really like those kind of aspects where, I think when zoos and aquariums are doing the best work is when they're taking the animals that they have that they're caring for, and also trying to really educate people and reconnect them to the habitats and the ecosystems that are out there in the wild spaces, and kind of show people how, what that picture is and what that maybe their challenges are for those pictures. And sometimes those messages are important enough where we really like to get involved and see if we can, give somebody something that maybe they put on that will then, have a little kid talking about, I saw this fish at this, facility. And by the way, this fish is a invasive species problem or something like that. So, whatever these messages are, it could be an opportunity. A little piece of merch can sometimes be that conversation that gets a little more knowledge out there.
Absolutely. And I loved, so when I first went to Great Lakes 360 for our preview night, I walk in and there are sea lampreys there. I've never seen sea lampreys. I can't believe that we have sea lampreys at this aquarium. It's amazing. And then I turn the corner and there is a Peppermint Narwhal sea lamprey pin with the, aquarium's branding as well. And I just lost my mind, and it will probably never come off my backpack. So yeah, those little things do matter. And you talk about sparking conservation conversations. And one of my favorite memories of Peppermint Narwhal, and this isn't even a question, I just want to share this story with you. is that 2 years ago, y'all were at the AZA conference, and I really missed you in Calgary this year, by the way.
Yeah.
And actually, my wife and I were some of the first to come up with this idea of, a lot of people were buying pins, but we came up with the idea of buying pins and putting your favorite animals in the corners of your name badge to spark conservation conversations.
Yes.
And we encouraged a bunch of our friends there to do it. And then it really took off. And anywhere that you looked in that hall, you would see people with 1 or 2 Peppermint Narwhal pins on their badge. And we would spark conversation. I would see people that I had never spoken to. And I would see that, we both had a binturong on our thing and be like, oh my gosh, you're a binturong fan. Yay, whatever. And it was just, it was amazing to see the impact that you were even able to have at an AZA conference where, like, let's be honest, we're all already animal nerds and there to talk about this stuff, So I just thought that was really cool.
That's a wonderful story. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I 100% agree. I think that the reason that we found a place in the big tapestry of conservation was, at first we were like, okay, well, we're not animal people. We're not, we don't work with a specific species. But, I have a lot of dogs around the house, but, that we've rescued, but I don't have that frontline access. But, the creating a visual was sort of my niche. And by creating that visual, I think art is really one of those things that has always sparked conversation. We've used it in the caves, in the first, bits of our creativity being explored, to talk about the animals that we were seeing and share the stories of what was out there and helping people connect with it. So I think that little beacon of a pin is sometimes an opportunity for us. It also, I think, diffuses that dialogue. You're much more it's so much easier to ask a person or talk about something when you saw something like a little pin than maybe to go up to them without knowing who they are and to try to say, hi, how are you? What's your name? Whereas the pin can sometimes be, oh, you like binturongs, and you don't even have to ask their name. You're now talking about animals. Then all of a sudden you realize we have all this common interest. By the way, what's your name? I really enjoy talking to you. So it makes them, I think, a nice icebreaker and opportunity for profound connections.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. And it's so funny whenever y'all put anything else up on Kickstarter or whatever, like you're currently doing the Gone But Not Forgotten series on there. And we got an email, and within an hour, my wife was like, did you support this yet? Because I want a thylacine. And I was just like, okay, let's
we really appreciate that support. It's really nice to see that. I mean, we meet this effort with passion. And we've been so humbled by, finding people who have found their own passion in it and excitement in it. So that always is nice fuel for us to keep motivating ourselves to, continue to do the hard work that, sometimes, as much as this is fun, it's a good bit of hard work to be, prolific and to keep going.
No doubt. Same with me. I love so much of what I do with this podcast, but sometimes it gets it's a lot, but it's worth it.
But that's the key, is when you're doing the things you love, your endurance level is so much higher. There's things that I am not remotely good at, and when I start doing them, I start failing pretty quickly, or I realize I'm not a good fit, and the discouragement level is just really a big exit for me, where you just try to, I can't do this, this isn't for me. So doing what you love is really kind of critical to overcoming some of that hard work that's going to be out there.
Definitely. Well, Brian, I have taken too much of your time, but before we go, y'all did have an offer for my listeners. So go ahead and share that with everyone.
Yeah. So we have a promo code that you can use, and it's valid through the, let me see here, the 20th. So December 20th, you can use Rossifari, and that's Rossifari. And if you use that promo code at checkout, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So regardless of what you're purchasing, whether it be a calendar, pin, ornament, gift tag, cards, whatever, anything in the cart will be 10% using that Rossifari promo code now through December 20th, 2024.
Awesome. Thank you so much for setting that up. We appreciate it. And thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure having you. I appreciate it, the good work that you're doing, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, I am Laura, Cappy Trails, which is a stationery sticker, pins and things, apparel type of company.
Yes, and you do really so. So your main focus is your art, right? You put it into various things, but you are an artiste.
Yes. So I illustrate everything on there, and we do it all with conservation in mind. So we hope that everything that we make is helping its real life counterparts. So if you buy a screech owl, part of the proceeds will be helping another screech owl in the real world.
And how do you do that? Do you just take like 30 cents and find a screech owl and drop it off?
So we're trying to find actual like facilities, like reputable facilities that will be doing either rehabs, or they have ambassador animals, or just some sort of program that focuses on those specific animals. And then we'll donate 10% towards their missions, their conservation goals, etc.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool thing. I've loved that program that you have running, because you've been doing this for quite a while now. And we've had quite the little collaboration. You made some custom Rossifari stickers before, and have done you were the person who designed the artwork for the my holiday special, and it is amazing. Got a lot of props on that, and I'm very appreciative of the work that you do, and the fact that you like to give back. What would you say, like, how would you describe your artistic style? What is your approach?
I go for semi-realism for the most part. I would like to do more in character type designs, but generally I try to keep it true to the animal that I'm drawing, first and foremost. And then if I feel like I want to do extra designs for said animal, I'll get a little bit more cutesy, cartoony with the design.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And you've done some really cool stuff in like both categories. Like, I recently helped you promote your sea turtle stuff and your penguins before that. And they're fantastically like realistic. Like you can tell what each species is just by looking at the drawing, but they're also cute and fun, and they don't look like a scientific drawing, which I appreciate. But then you've done other things that are a lot goofier on purpose, including the logo for my Christmas special last year, which you created. One thing that actually really impresses me is how much you are able to veer from like very realistic looking, like the one custom Rossifari sticker that you did has all kinds of animals that just look like animals. They're not cartoony at all. But then you also did the Christmas special where it's literally a cartoon scene of some of the same animals, and it's honestly, as a person who is used to artists having one very strict style, I'm always impressed to see your ability to create, whether it's a cartoon tree kangaroo or a like very just realistic looking tree kangaroo. And that's just what you've done for me,
Yeah, so I think that is a great example of like where I was and where I am going now. So the logo that I did for you, I can't remember, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a while ago. And I don't draw like that now at all. And that's kind of like an example of when I was doing a little bit more realistic. And now I'm honing more into that cartoonified style. I still want to keep, like I said, true to the animal, like as best as possible. If they have specific wrinkles, or like the sea turtles, for example, I want to keep their pattern on their shells accurate as possible. I mean, there's going to be a little bit off because I'm not being scientific here, but I want to be as close to it as I can. So you're like, oh, that's that sea turtle,
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And I think you do a great job of combining that into your own style. It's been fun watching it develop over the last couple of years.
Thanks. I'm still working on it. I'm still doing different things every time, especially with like the new design that I did for you, the ornaments. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, let's segue right into that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So that one was a doozy because as I was doing it, I was just about hating everything. That it looked a little generic at first. It's like, no, I want to give it more character. And I think I still spent way too long staring at it. And when I do that, I generally don't really like what I'm looking at anymore. It's like, okay, I want to move on to the next thing now. But overall, I do really like it. And I want to expand more on these characters for you. Like, I want to use these for Rossifari. These are your characters. We got to give them names. Obviously, the tree kangaroo, we can name it after you because it is based off of you.
I love that you designed a tree kangaroo after me, and it's so cute. Yeah.
Well, honestly, I found it really helpful to look at a picture of you when I was doing it, because it gave it more expression, I feel like. And
very expressive.
Yeah. So I was trying to put that in there. I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, I showed my fiance. He's like, yeah, I see it.
Oh, no, I see it. And I showed it to Zoe, and she was like, yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah,
I did like that you were like, I'm not saying you're short, by the way, because the tree kangaroo is shorter than the binturong and the red panda. And I was like, no, I know, I get it.
Okay, good. All right. Because I kind of actually guessed on that. And he's more sitting versus like up on his legs anyways. So I'm not saying like you're short and stout, it's just like.
I was deeply unconcerned. I am tall and stout, to be fair, but I thought it was a good. I like it. There's a tree kangaroo that was based on me. How could I not love it? Come on. But yeah, so what we're talking about here is an ornament that is now available. And that you can purchase, and it is a Rossifari ornament, and it was designed by Laura, and it is on her site, and you can get it, and it is obviously my $1 million quartet of animals. So it is a sea turtle and a tree kangaroo and a red panda and a binturong, and they are adorable, and they are in Christmassy or wintry, really, garb, and I am a big fan of it. And so we've been collaborating for a while as far as like me helping you promote stuff and everything, and brand ambassadorship or whatever. But this is kind of the next step. You and I are moving forward with creating some stuff together and working as a team here, and I'm really excited about it. And like you said, we'll keep these characters going. Do you want to share about another thing that we're going to be doing together?
Yeah, so there's been talk about adding stickers to the Patreon now, for whatever tiers that you're thinking of. I want to keep it related to an episode or just whatever month, or maybe like a photo that you took that month or recently or whatever to the podcast. And oh no, I'm going off again. Shit. Okay.
No, this is good. What you said is absolutely right. I'm going to leave this in because it's just kind of funny. People get it. But yeah, no, the idea is that we're going to tie each month. If you are a binturong or red panda level patron, you will get a sticker that is related to something from that month. And so I'm very excited to start to open that up, and that'll be cool. And we'll see how that goes. But I think it'll go over very well. Yeah. And so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. You made it sound great. Thank you.
I'm good at this.
Well, you better be. You've been doing it for years now.
I know, right? You're like, can I go back to drawing and stop talking, please?
I don't even have time for that. That's not what I'm going to be doing next. I'm going to be laser cutting for like the next week.
Well, yeah, talk about a little bit. So you have different products available, right? So you have stickers and you have these wooden pins, which... It's so cool. Such a neat idea. Something I had never considered before. And you make apparel, like you're wearing one of your sweatshirts now, and I have a really cool penguin sweatshirt that you sent me of all the different species, and it's awesome. But like, so talk about the different things and how they all come to be, because you do all the legwork for this.
Yeah. So it started with just the stickers. And I was making them at home. Way back when it started, I was just cutting them out myself. And then I invested in a machine, and that led to another machine. And that led to a lot of cursing and frustration, and is more recently and way too late in this career to be investing in now sending them out for someone else to make it. And it's still like, I still have to make a little bit at home. I don't want to. I'm trying not to. But that's for the stickers. As far as the apparel goes, I send out for the design. It comes here. I make it. I heat press and everything with that. For the pins and the ornaments, anything wooden, I cut it out here. I press the design on there. I seal it up. I put whatever accessory goes onto it, being a pin, keychain, string for the ornament, and package it. And yeah, it's a long process, and it's something that I did not know I could do with the transfers. It's the same thing that goes on the shirts, but now I'm putting it on wood.
That's amazing to me, and that seems like such a cool idea. I love even when you talked about wooden pins. So I'm a pin nerd. I collect pins.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hundreds and hundreds. I am blown away by these wooden pins, and you sent me 2 of the sea turtle ones, and they're so well done and they're so cool. At first, when you were like wooden pins, I was like, curious, don't know what that would be like, but they're just like pins, except they're wooden instead of enamel, but they're really nice, and they're lightweight, and they're very pinny. I like them.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you do. I'm at the point where I'm probably going to invest in a more expensive laser cutter, because the one that I have is basically like you put it together yourself, totally, the wires and all, and that took me 2 days because the instructions were in a different language. So that was not...
Wait. You built a laser with bad instructions. Wow.
Yeah. And YouTube was not helpful either, because the videos that I found, nobody was talking in it. They were just kind of showing it to you. And the company itself that made it was also doing the same thing and put one of those do fun songs over it. And I was having to roll back over and over, like, what did you just do to make it work?
Oh my God.
And now I'm kind of struggling with it a little bit. It's not quite starting up correctly anymore. And I don't know how to troubleshoot that. I just keep moving things around, making sure everything's still connected. That's the best I can do. So...
But that's so cool that you do all of it yourself. I really like that. That's really neat.
Yeah, I think I want to keep doing the wooden stuff myself, at least until it gets too out of hand. Because I like the quality of it. It looks really cool. It feels really cool versus like other places that just print directly onto the wood. It's not as vibrant, the ones that I've come across. And to keep things more home-based and US-based is great in my book. Like, especially for the sticker companies that I that do my stickers now, they're all US-based. And one of them is about an hour away from me. I go pick up every now and then. So
nice. That's really cool. Well, where can people find all of your stuff, including our exclusive ornament?
You can find it all on my website at cappytrails.com.
And then are you going to be doing any special cool sale-y things for people that want to do special cool sale-y things?
Yeah, so recently figured out I'll be having
figured out, you mean while we were sitting here on this Zoom and I mentioned that I would promote a sale if you were doing one, but go ahead.
I was going to do one, for the record. I just haven't gotten that far yet. Thank you for pushing me to that point. Okay.
What are friends for?
Yeah. 25% off. We're going to do it from November 28th, which I believe is Thanksgiving. Yes. All the way through Monday, December 2nd. And that will be the 25% off. And then after that, we're still going to have a deal. It'll be buy 3, get 1 free stickers.
All right. There you go. And that runs till when?
Forever. No. That'll run through January 1st.
Okay. Very good. And you did not just decide that spontaneously. So
I did not at all.
So I have to tell you one last thing before we go, because we're friends. And so I get to pick on you a little on my podcast. Those are the rules. And I realize I've already done that. But You rebranded this year, so you were going by a different name, and you did a big rebrand to the Cappy Trails, and I really, really like it. And you created a mascot type character for yourself, and I think it really, from an outsider, but an artist, not a drawer, but an artistic person perspective, it seems to have really focused you. From what I've seen. And I really like that. I think that is really, really cool. I think it was a great decision. I love it. All of that. Now, that being said, I get to pick on you a little bit because every single time I type it in, I type in your website, I type in, to search for you for our conversations in Instagram or whatever, my phone auto-corrects it to the Cappy Trails. But then I can fix it, so it's all good. Oh, no, you're not laughing. Did you freeze, or are you just not laughing at me? I feel like you froze.
And she did. She had, in fact, frozen, and I was not in any trouble. And we ended up reconnecting and finishing our session, but Zoom didn't record her side of the audio when she came back. So I found that very funny because honestly, I was a little concerned that I had just burned a major bridge, but I didn't. And that is good, but it was also the worst timing for that to cut out ever. But anyway, I'm grateful to Laura for coming on, and she was very grateful and very kind in what she said in saying goodbye, but none of you really care about that. Let's get to the next interview.
My name's Adrian Colesberry. I'm a founder at Buoy LLC, which is a company that makes bottles, water bottles mainly, and other products out of 100% recycled ocean-bound plastic. Our water bottle is the most sustainable bottle on the market by a mile, and that's not just puffery. Our supply chain is so tiny. We collect in South Mexico. We bring it up to Southern California to process. That's a supply chain partner. Then we take it up to Northern California for injection molding in a plant that uses solar, and then just bring it down to LA, and that's where we warehouse it. So that's such a teeny tight supply chain that if you credit us with the plastic collected, it is carbon negative. So that is wildly, it's a very unique product in that way.
It is a very unique product. So we met at the AZA conference, and y'all hooked me up with one of the bottles, and it has become my daily use water bottle. I have literally not used any of my other ones since I got it. I am officially obsessed.
I'm thrilled to hear that. That's awesome. What colors did you mix it up in? I want to ask.
I just got straight blue, and then
you got straight blue. Okay.
Yep, and then I immediately, one of the things that I like to do every year at the conference, we get a lot of stickers from the various people there. And so every year I have brought or purchased a new water bottle when I'm there, or a lot of times you get them gifted there. And so every year I have stickerified my water bottles.
Nice.
Yes, with just like my current conference swag. And so I did that here, and it is fantastic. And it gets compliments everywhere. Lots of people ask me about it because it's a unique looking, kind of weird in a good way water bottle, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it does not look like any water bottle you've seen. That design, Pascal Schaller is our designer. He's a brilliant designer. He won and Buoy won a Red Dot Design Award this year for the best of the best in terms of so that's like the Oscars of design. No one's really ever heard of it. I have not heard of it, but it is the Oscars of design, and we won that. We're also in the MoMA store, which is the MoMA design store, which is kind of in America the salute to you have designed something super cool. So we're really proud of the bottle.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And one of the things that I like about it is that it opens in two different places. So do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. So it's funny. It was as we were designing it, one thing we didn't like about bottles is they get so super funky after a while, and you can't really clean it so great like a swell bottle or the bottles with the narrow necks. And then as they respond to that complaint and they make a wider mouth bottle, it's this bottle where every once in a while you give yourself an unintentional shower as you're trying to drink from it. And so we thought, you know what? Even though it's kind of a pain production wise, let's see if we can address both of those problems. And we made it crack in the middle. So, like you said, the bottle has a very nice little thumb loop on the top that you open, and it has a nice mouthfeel when you drink it. But then it cracks in the middle. And the reason it cracks in the middle is so you can dishwash it. And then also for those people who like to add ice to their water, you can add ice to your water.
Yes, and I am an ice fiend.
But the
so
spandrel
like
to that. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad you do like that. That's awesome. So that's our point, is you don't have to sit there like, with an old swell bottle, like half melting, half shoving the ice into the mouth of it. And then the fun part about that, the kind of spandrel, if you remember Stephen Jay Gould's idea of a spandrel, is that it now has 3 parts, and it comes in all these fun colors. So what you could do, is just why I asked you earlier about what color you ended up with, is you can change, and you can have a different middle and bottom, or a different middle and top and bottom. It's just the possibilities are many for how you can mix up your bottle and enjoy. And so the zoos that we sell into have had huge fun staging little events for kids where they go in and they just Lego together the bottle. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. And there's actually one other thing that having it split in the middle is beneficial for.
I want it.
I have 3 dogs, and it becomes, if you don't fill it high enough, or what I like to do is I fill it all the way up and drink half of it. But once you get below that line, you flip it over, and they can drink from it. And I do it from the top part and the middle part, because then I'm holding the smaller thing and can hold it right up to their little faces, and they go to town. And it is so convenient to have my dogs drink from that when I forget to bring water for them, or we go on a surprise hike or something, and I'm like, well, I always carry my water bottle, so now I can hydrate my dogs, which is amazing.
That is super cool. The top comes off as in a chalice, kind of. You keep the thumb loop on and you open it in the middle. It's this little chalice, and you're exactly right. You can the dogs catch on to that immediately. Yeah, no, I'm glad you found that. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, it has been such a treat. I like water bottles, but like I said, my problem with them is literally what you said. I replace it like once a year because you never can clean it enough. And I will tell you, my wife is really good at cleaning things. And so I'm not. I get why my things get gross. But if she can't keep a water bottle clean for me, then I know something's going on.
Yeah.
So once a year I swap it out, and that's still better than using, a different bottle every time you get water or whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole point of sustainability is to be as sustainable as possible. So, this is a big deal to me. I'm a big fan.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. And, look, we all have stainless steel water bottles. We all have those thermos bottles. Somehow these companies have been able to convince us that it's a profound human need to be able to keep ice for 5 days in a bottle, which I don't necessarily care too much about. But when you do the life cycle analysis of our bottle, and this is what I mean by most sustainable bottle, when you do the life cycle analysis of our bottle versus any thermos bottle that comes from overseas, you would have to keep a stainless steel bottle for 112 years to equal using a buoy bottle for 3 years and then throwing it away. So if we follow yours and you're throwing it away every year, you'd have to keep a stainless steel bottle for 40 years, basically, to equal the carbon footprint of that buoy bottle. So it's just astonishingly, and that's not even saying it's carbon negative. That's not even crediting us with the plastic. That's just the active carbon footprint.
Wow, that is truly amazing. And you mentioned that you're in at zoos and aquariums. Talk about that partnership a little bit.
Yeah, it has been, you start a business and you kind of are like, I like this. I wonder who our customer is. Like, who's going to dig this, And we have been just so floored by our reception at zoos and aquariums. We're in about 36 and counting zoos and aquariums around the country. And the reception we have gotten has been absolutely astonishing. I think to a certain extent, our value proposition and our mission aligns so perfectly with zoo conservation missions. Sometimes at the AZA conference, it was phenomenal because we were talking to people who were taking care of seals, right? And this person would be spending part of their day maybe picking plastic out of the eyeball of a recovered seal or something like that. And so when you say to them, hey, the whole economic energy of this enterprise is to put money into preventing plastic from going into the ocean, how profoundly aligned can you get? You can't get more aligned than that. And that was one of the wonderful things about that conference, is hearing all that.
Yeah, no, that is amazing. And I will tell you, I'm speaking to you roughly 15 minutes after I got home from volunteering at Aquarium of Niagara, where I volunteer with seals and sea lions and penguins. Right. And somebody, luckily nothing happened to the animal, but somebody dropped a straw wrapper into our sea lion pool today. I'm sure by accident. But these things happen. And it's crazy to think that even at an aquarium, there was suddenly a risk for, a sea lion interacting with plastic. And I was like, how is this possible?
Right. Plastic is so ubiquitous. It's going to take us a lot of effort. Like buoy is kind of the tip of the spear a little bit. Like it's going to take, because what the role we play in the ecosystem is as a responsible end user of recycled plastic, right? And recycling has been demonized to a certain extent, but it certainly doesn't work if there's no responsible end user, right? And that's who we are. That's the most important thing that buoy does, is we're like, no, if you collect this plastic and stop it from going into the ocean, we'll use it, right? We're going to use it. And our real goal is to make a wall around, Mexico, California, whatever, in the case of success, and not let plastic go to Indonesia to be incinerated or carelessly drop into the ocean, So that's what our success means for us, is being part of the enterprises that are building that wall. I live in California. California certainly uses tons of plastic, and we all ship it. We ship it out. Why can't we? We're so proud of being so smart in California. Why can't we be smart enough to figure out how to reuse all this stuff? And that's the role that we're going to play, and we're pretty loud about it in the community.
That's awesome. I really love that. So I guess I'm wondering, how do people go ahead and get themselves a buoy bottle?
Well, you can go to www.buoy.eco. That is our website, and you can buy a buoy bottle off there. We ship for free currently. And if you if you send an email to the contact address and mention that you bought the bottle after listening to this podcast, I don't have a code. Podcasts sometimes toss off a code. I'm sorry. But if you mentioned that you heard it on this podcast, I will give you the bottle for $25 instead of $29.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it.
Indeed. Love to support.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited. I hope that people check out the bottle, and I will post some video of my bottle and pictures, and when the episode's live, and maybe even of my adorable dogs having a lot of fun with it.
I want to see your dogs drink it out. That's what I want to see. I love it. Amazing.
It's really good. It's really cute. They're really good dogs.
Amazing. I want it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this, Adrian. I really appreciate it.
John, thank you so much. Wonderful to talk.
Yeah, so I am Evan Johnson. I am the founder of Saratoga Toy and Game, which is my little company, which right now has one published game, which is Zoo King, a strategic zoo building card game.
Yes, a very fun strategic zoo building card game. Yes, we love Zoo King. My entire family has played Zoo King. As a matter of fact, my parents, who are not big gamers, sat down with my son and I and played Zoo King and really loved it. So,
yes.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool because I was kind of surprised, honestly, just because we don't play games together, So,
right,
yeah.
right.
I thought that was really cool.
Well,
And they like zoos, but they're not like big zoo people like I am and my son is. So I thought that was cool too, you know?
Well, no, I love hearing that, because that was exactly my goal was, not everyone likes to play a game, but I wanted to make a game that everyone at any level, I say players of all stripes, obviously, kind of punny there. But I want it to be something that anyone in the family, any, your friends, whether they're younger or older, can really have fun with this, and also to inspire maybe more interest and curiosity in going to the zoo.
Yeah, no, which is awesome. And it has not sparked any deeper desire to go to a zoo in me, but that's also because that's impossible. So what made you, like, what was your inspiration to start Zooking?
Yeah, well, it was my pandemic project. So I figured I'd, maybe quit watching Netflix and go do something with my time, try to make a memory, right? Because, during those times, tomorrow was never promised, right? You didn't know what was going on. So I figured, hey, I better go out and create something if I want something to, to leave a legacy of some sort. And I decided to make a fun legacy. We had more time to play games during the day. I was going to say at nighttime, but really during the day too, I guess. So I went back to my roots of, what theme of game would I want to make? And I just loved animals growing up. I went to my parents' house after I made the game, and I found these like National Geographic type books that I made myself when I was 7. I was like, oh, wow, I really had a passion for creating things and using animals. And I was always a big Zoo Tycoon PC game player when I was a kid too. So that was just a natural theme and something I could really have a passion about.
That's really cool. I actually, you're currently being interviewed for my pandemic project, so I hear you on that. And
awesome.
And actually, one of my favorite things. So I love not only going to zoos, but I love zoo photography. And Zoe, my wife, during the pandemic, made a zoo in Zoo Tycoon or Zoo, whatever it was, one of those, simulators, and just gave me the controller so I could walk around and take photographs in the fake zoo, because that was the closest you could get,
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so
very
fun.
Sweet. Yeah. That was very cool. So tell people a little bit about what they can expect from this game.
Yeah. So it's a simple game, but it's strategic. It's got a good mix of luck and strategy, some tactics. So essentially, you are in charge of running your own zoo, building your own zoo from the ground up. So that entails on your turn, drafting animal cards. You might need to draft a staff or facility card, like a zookeeper, to protect some of your animals from different events that happen, like exhibit exchanges, that sort of thing. You might need to get an ice cream stand or a carousel to bring in some more money to prepare yourself for the different events, or be able to grow your zoo with more animals. So you really go just customizing, your zoo, choosing the animals you want, but also trying to see what animals are going to help you win, because the objective is to try to win the most trophies, the most zoo awards by the end of the game, to have the best chance of winning. So the more categories you can lead in, the better your chances of winning. And that's, categories like who has the most endangered animals, or who has the most prestigious zoo, or who has the most diverse zoo, things like that.
Yeah, it's cute that you think that's what happens, but what really happens is, you'll be going for a strategy, and then a red panda card will pop up, even though you won't be helped by getting a red panda for your zoo. But I really love red pandas, so I get a red panda for my zoo, and then it all falls apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in my experience and talking to other people who play this, because this game is very popular with some like zookeepers and stuff that I know,
Yep.
and that is generally, the strategy goes out the window. And you get excited when you see your favorite animal, and that's the end of it.
Exactly. There's so many different things you can do during the game, and every game is different, right? Because like you said, you might want to just see if you can just draft your favorite animals and still find a way to win with your favorite animals. Or sometimes you just be really strategic, and it's like, well, this card is going to help me win, so maybe on this turn I'll be more serious about it. But the fun thing is, amazingly, people do build a connection with the cards that they have on their table. It's like, I have a red panda, I have a clouded leopard, or, and if that has to get traded away during one of those events, it's sometimes sad for people.
No,
but
it really is.
it's
Actually,
part of the fun, right?
the very first time I played it with Miles, I got a red panda on the first turn, which was like, hello. And
Yep.
he stole it and I stole it back and it became a thing. And we had so much fun with it. It was so goofy and so fun. And neither one of us cared about winning if we ended the game with that red panda. And that's not the point of the game. But it became the point of that round and it was super fun. So yeah.
Yes,
really
there can these games within the game can occur and these lucky twists and turns. So sometimes there's some real drama, and a lot of the game is just managing your emotions and trying to build the best zoo you can.
Yeah, and it is so much fun. So the other cool thing about the game is that it's not fully contained in, like, you can buy the basic game and you can play the game and you're fine, but you've been doing expansion packs. And I just got my mailing notice that the latest one will be shipping out, I think today or tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited about. So can you talk about that a little bit and what elements those add?
Yeah, thank you for being a background Kickstarter. So as a very small indie company, we launched Kickstarter projects to be able to make this game possible. So the first expansion we did to the game is called Souvenirs. Zoo King is 2 to 4 players, but with the Souvenirs pack, you can add a 5th player. It also adds some new animals, of course, and some new staff and facilities with different capabilities, as well as a little twist to the game where there's a new award that can be stolen throughout the game. So you're not just competing for the end game scenario, you're competing to, perhaps steal an award throughout the game to put you over the top. And then the one that you just alluded to is our Zoo Lights holiday expansion, which just, released essentially today. And that adds a lot of polar animals, a lot of kind of thematic wintry animals, as well as some more festive attractions and events. There's even a white elephant gift exchange event so what happens is you draw an animal from the deck for free, but then the next person can either steal it or draw their own animal. So it kind of goes around like that. So I anticipate hearing some fun stories in the future from you about that one.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. And that Kickstarter also came with a different pack that you put together that has some animals that I'm very excited about. Yes,
actually, I asked you at one point, what animal would you want to see in the pack? And you, I think you had said the binturong.
Yes.
And I am happy to report that is in the game. So the two, I decided to start another kind of booster pack series. So just smaller packs because people want more animals. And there's so many that you can add into the game going forward. So the first two are it's Down Under. That's the Australian themed pack. And then there's the After Hours, the Nocturnal Animals theme pack. So yes. Very excited about those too.
And not only did you do binturong, but you also in Australia you have tree kangaroo, which is another one of my favorites. So you have gone from one of my favorite animals to 3 of my favorite animals, and
yes,
I'm very excited about all of that.
I love crowdsourcing, not just the game, but the ideas for the game as well, right? So both of those packs were based on votes from the backers. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And, as you look for new ideas for different cards, I'm just saying that Animal Podcast, little Rossifari collab wouldn't suck right now,
Hey, I think that's a great idea. Let's work on that. I can definitely see that on an event card.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I feel like we've done a pretty good job talking about, what the game is and everything. But what are some of your favorite animals in the game? Because we already know what mine are.
Yes, I know you love the red panda, number 1. For me, there's 2 animals that I really enjoy. It's the okapi and the African wild dog.
Nice.
Yep. Those, they're just very unique animals to me. And I had the chance to see them actually for the first time in person a couple years back at the Denver Zoo. So that was a real treat.
Nice. Very cool. And one of the cool things about this is your game is available on Amazon, and we can talk more about that. But you've also been getting into gift shops at different zoos, and the response, I believe, has been really good, right?
Yeah, it has been really good. It's not always the easiest just being a small fish to get into all these different shops across the country, but Our home zoo, the Hogle Zoo in Utah, they sell really well there. San Francisco Zoo, Zoo Boise, Blank Park Zoo, about maybe a dozen more across the country. Big Bear Alpine Zoo down in California. The cool thing is, I if there's anyone in the zoo world from the retail space listening, we do offer a zoo rate, just to support the zoos a little bit more, make sure they can keep more money in their pockets to support their all important efforts. So that's been a lot of fun. Also been able to donate some copies of the game to different auctions, like the San Antonio chapter of the American Association for Zookeepers for their Bowling for Rhinos charity event. So just being involved in the zoo world has been a lot of fun as well.
That's very cool. And because you don't really have a zoo background, do you?
No, nothing more than the zoo tycoon I mentioned.
Yeah. Well, apparently that was enough. So
right.
Very, very cool. Awesome.
You can see what a game can do, right? To inspire people. Yeah. So I hope that my game can inspire other kids and people to, pay it forward and help support animal conservation and whatnot.
Definitely. Yeah. Very cool. Is there anything else you want to say about the game or anything like that before we get to our last question?
No, I just want to say that, as you alluded to before, it's a game for everyone. So pick it up. There's something for everyone in the game. It's fun. It's even fun just to look at the cards. It makes a great gift. And I have a special announcement. I am doing one of the best deals that I've ever done for your listeners. So from now through the end of the year, if you go to saratogatoy.com and use the coupon code Rossifari on any of our bundles, so that would be the Zoo King and Souvenirs bundle or the complete collection bundle, that coupon code Rossifari is good for $10 off. So that'll even beat our Amazon Black Friday deal. So be sure to write down Rossifari and enter that at checkout, saratogatoy.com.
Woo, awesome. Thank you very much. That is very cool. I would use it myself, except I already have all your stuff.
Yeah.
No, that is wonderful. Thank you for doing that for us. We appreciate it.
Of course. I appreciate your listeners.
It's time now, don't you know? We've come to the end of the show. But there's one tale left to go. You're gonna laugh and say, oh no. It's time for the Rossifari poop story.
I do have a pee story because when we were at the Denver Zoo, we were walking over to another animal that I had never seen before in my life, the tapir. And I was so excited. I got super close to his fence there. And all of a sudden, he just shoots out this liquid right at my feet. And I think I got a few droplets on me. At first, it looked like it was going to be kind of a change of clothes needed, but fortunately it fell a few inches short. But my kids got a good laugh about that. And every time we play the game and that card comes up, they say, "Dad, that's the one that peed on you."
Now there's an event card. I'm telling you, that's exactly the move right there.
Hey, see, this is why our relationship is so good, because you're giving me such great ideas for the game now.
Oh, I do have lots. I have lots of ideas because I really love it, and I think it is super fun. So I have lots of. Most of my ideas are just dumb cards and stuff like that because the gameplay itself is great. But We'll stay in touch. But thank you so much for doing this. It's been a blast.
Thank you, John. Really appreciate everyone, and definitely you for hosting.
My name is Jenny Bluer. I have a small business called tied-in-knots-crocheting. I started it about 17 years ago, and I was a kind of a cottage industry, markets and selling to friends. And then this September, I got my business license, and now I sell to the zoo and the Virginia Living Museum in a cute little shop next to the Children's Museum. And then I also now have a web store.
Yeah, you do. And we actually met because I went to the Virginia Zoo and did an episode there, and I saw some of your creations, and I fell in love with them. And you pick up the story from there and talk about when some crazy guy reached out to you with an idea.
Right. So you sent me a message and you said, hi, I was at the zoo. And have you ever made a binturong? And I went, I don't know what that is. And you sent me pictures, and my daughter, who is an animal nut, knew exactly what it was. And so we found some pictures, and you sent me some pictures, and I made our friend.
Yeah, and I am so excited. It is such a good binturong, and
you have two of them.
Yeah, well, I have one of them. The other one has been stolen. We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah.
My cousin makes the eyes.
Pardon me?
My cousin makes the felt eyes.
Oh, okay. That's very cool. Yeah, because you do plastic eyes sometimes, but to be at the zoo, you need a specific, they don't want any plastics.
Right. I have to either do felt or embroidered. And some of them, like the red pandas, I do embroidered eyes, and the giraffes, I do embroidered eyes. But then, like the sloths and turtles and rhinos and things have felt eyes. In fact, the rhino's eyes glow in the dark.
Oh my goodness, that is adorable. So what led to you like reaching out to the zoo, and how did you become a part of the Virginia Zoo family?
Well, I'm kind of an introvert, a bit of a hermit. And my friend Hazel owns the shop by the Children's Museum. And I had just gotten my business license, and I had reached out to Jill at the Living Museum, who's wonderful. Wonderful. And my friend Hazel said, well, now you have to talk to the zoo. And I said, no, ma'am. And she said, Jenny. I was like, okay. So I did it because my friend believed me. And when I met Kayla, she's wonderful. She's so sweet. Like, I am so blessed to have the buyers that I do. Hazel and Jill and Kayla are all wonderfully nice. And they love working with me in my designs. And because I don't follow patterns, I don't know how to read patterns.
Oh, wow. So this is just very instinctual for you?
Yeah. I learned how to crochet when I was 9.
Okay.
From my grandmother. And I just never learned how to read a pattern. And so that's my note.
Okay, folks, the notes are literally just like a string of little instructions written out like a list or something. That is not what I was expecting. Yeah.
Like up here it says make 4 legs. So I have people that ask me for my patterns, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So my notes are just so that they're kind of homogenized and they kind of all look alike. But yeah, I don't know how to read a pattern. Everything is just up here.
Okay. That's really cool. So I think it is really cool that you are, in at the zoo, and that you have this relationship there. And, I just find it extra amazing knowing that you make these animals without a pattern. I was shocked at how quickly you turned around a binturong and how amazing it is.
What happens is, so I have untreated ADD. And I get a picture in my head. And the picture goes like this, and like this, and like this. And then I have to make it right then, or it doesn't leave me alone.
Okay.
Like the sloth. I had made a sloth with a slap bracelet, and I loved him. But it makes them a little more costly. So I wanted to make a sloth that I could do at a lower price point. And 3 o'clock in the morning, the idea came to me. And so I got up and I made him.
That makes sense. That's awesome. As a musician, I have experienced the same thing. When something hits you, it hits you, and you need to get it out. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, there's a queue of animals waiting to be made when I finish the zoo order.
Nice. So, speaking of the zoo order, and I know that you do other things than animals, but since we are focused on the animal side of things right now, for people listening, what what kind of animals do you have available?
Okay, so for the zoo, originally I just had the rhino, the red panda. Look at his little tail.
It is such a good tail.
Giraffe. And my daughter makes all the felt pieces that you see on them because she's awesome. And then tomorrow, actually, we're adding sloths. Those are the ones that, look, he just came.
That is cool. It's like a bracelet.
It is, and he's so cozy. Sea turtles, and I have these at the Living Museum too. But they have little flippers. And then your favorite, we're adding the binturongs tomorrow.
Woo! I'm so excited, and it's so weird too. I like it. It's so weird to have, but weird to have been part of getting something into a store at a zoo now, like just because I do this podcast. It makes me very happy. Yeah, thank you. So I love all of these. And what is the website where people can go and see them and buy lots of them?
Okay, so it's tied-in-knots-crocheting with a dash in between .square.site.
Okay, and I will put a link to that in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
Of course. And I have to tell you that while I love your website and your Instagram and all the things, they truly do not do your product justice. And for anyone listening, if you go on the website and you see these pictures, you might think, oh, these are pretty nice. I love them. I loved the ones I saw at the zoo. I love the ones that I got from you. And as a matter of fact, the package came and it was a red panda, 2 binturongs, and 2 sea turtles. And very specifically, I had wanted one of the binturongs for Miles, my son, and he immediately not only took it, but said he wants a red panda now as well, and wanted to steal mine, but I didn't let him. And my wife immediately claimed one of the sea turtles, which was not supposed to happen, but she stole it immediately and loves it, and like it has gone to places with her and had little adventures already. So it's amazing. So the work that you do is incredible, and for those of you listening, you when you go and look, the pictures are fine, but I promise you they are even more impressive in person, and they are cuddly and they are lovely, and I'm really just so impressed with them.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I always wonder if people think that they're as happy with them.
Oh yeah, I'm super happy. And like I said, stolen immediately. Just turtle gone. Binturong swept away. Now that was 4 Miles, but he didn't even know that when he was stealing it. And he already is trying to get a red panda. I think you're going to hear from me before Christmas time. So,
Christmas delivery, last order for Christmas delivery is December 1st.
Okay, good to know. So,
I do like turtle. Did you keep your tiny turtle?
I did. Yes, the tiny turtle. Okay. I was kind of like, everyone stop stealing my stuff. It's mine now. Yes, no, I appreciated that. And so the one other thing I like to talk about here before we go is let's just discuss, what do you do to give back?
Well, for years I have done random acts of kindness where I crochet things and we give them to people who need them. The recent hurricane that devastated North Carolina, a neighbor of mine was going down with a huge load of supplies and things like that. And I asked her, I think that having something that's not mud covered would be nice. Are you interested in me giving you some hair scrunchies? And she said, well, how much? I said, oh, no, they're free. It's part of what I do to give back. And I gave her 200 hair scrunchies to take down. And she sent me back pictures with the children and their big smiles, and it was wonderful. And then we have what we call our random acts of kindness basket that we keep in the car. And it has like your tiny turtle. It has little tiny stuffed animals or fidgets or hair scrunchies or whatever I happen to make a lot of. And we keep it in the car. And if say we go through a drive-through and the person just looks like they're not having their best day, we show them the basket and tell them they can pick something. If we, like when I go to CVS to pick up our prescriptions, they see me coming and go, "Oh, the crochet lady." And they, before they even pick up the microphone, they hold up fingers for how many people are in the pharmacy that day. So they get really excited about our random acts of kindness. And, just sometimes I'll keep something in my pocket. And if we're at a doctor's office and somebody looks like they need it, they get it. I don't do anything kind of corporate, but we spread smiles. And that's how I give back. We spread smiles.
No, that's amazing. And I can picture, I've had those days, and I can picture what that would do for me if suddenly a tiny turtle popped into my life when I was having a bad day. And yeah, I think that's incredible. So thank you for doing that.
And I do a lot of like sensory fidgets and things like that for the Random Acts of Kindness basket. And those are very well received by, honestly, by like drive-through and delivery drivers. Like, because we get Instacart delivery for our groceries, and I always have my little basket out there. And this like 6 foot something giant kid who was bringing my groceries up for his mom, I told him he could pick something out of the basket, and he danced. This kid looked like he was a football player, and he danced. So
that's
that
amazing.
made my whole day. I get way more back than I give.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this. And yeah, it's been nice chatting with you.
It's been very nice chatting with you.
Have a good one.
I'm glad everybody likes their friends.
Everyone does, even if it was supposed to be mine.
Well, you've got the website.
All right, so there you have it, folks. A bunch of great gift ideas, and now you know the creators behind them. I hope y'all enjoyed that as much as I did. Don't forget to go to the show notes to check out all of the links and discount codes and all that good stuff. And also don't forget that you can always do symbolic adoptions at your local zoos or through your favorite conservation organizations as well. I highly recommend those as gifts. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to all of my guests for this week, and also to say thank you to my Red Panda level patrons, Dr. Laura Schenk, Dr. Stephen Williamson, Barbara Bennett, Jenny Owens, and Kevin Williams. Don't forget that you can also give me the gift of becoming a patron for as little as $3 a month, and that binturong and Red Panda level patrons are going to start getting custom stickers each month from Cappy Trails. Very cool stuff. You can do that by going to patreon.com/Rossifari. And with all of that said, I'll see you back here on Friday for Zoo News. And don't forget, the words gift credits backwards are to Fig Steiderk. The Rossifari podcast is produced, hosted, and engineered by John Rossi. Editing and fact-checking by John and Dr. Zoe Rossi. Our theme song is Sevens by Nathan Burke, performed by Nathan and John. Interrupting John theme and additional voices by Taylor Isaac Gray. You can reach John directly on Instagram and Facebook at Rossifari or by email at rossifaripod@gmail.com. Rossifari is part of the Daydreamer Media Network. Now, stop listening to me and go visit a zoo.